Hey everyone, in this City Skylines 2 video, I'm going to test the simulation of the city of the game because I just want to see for myself how are things exactly working, where people are going, where cars are going, if vehicles, cars are even necessary to, for example, resupply businesses and industries and all of that, and just overall how it all behaves, how it all looks, because it's also going to be important for, well, obviously the gameplay, but also the detailing later, because you kind of need to work with that. Even in City Skylines 1 you had to, and if you are just playing the game normally, then maybe you're not going to exactly notice certain things, so it's better to just test it on some kind of a complete sandbox map, sandbox city. So, I'm just going to do that so you don't have to. On the patch 1014F1, supposed to be the recent one right now, recording this on the 26th, and I'm just going to start a new map, the San Francisco map, because it's reasonably flat and large, and I'm going to play with money and milestones because I really want to avoid certain comments that the game behaves differently if I have everything unlocked and infinite money, right? So yeah, let's just go in and start building our little town. Okay, so this is the start. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to flatten this entire tile that we have around here, and then I'm just going to build super simple blocks of roads, like grids of roads. I'm just going to use the grid function, and I'm going to build, let's say, maybe 3 grids, okay? Just like starting grids. And intentionally, I'm not going to connect them together. You probably already know where this is going. I'm basically trying to make it, actually, let's make it here, because I know I'm not going completely unprepared into this one. So I know that the wind direction is this way. So this is going to be my industrial zone. And first, I would like to really test how people are going into the city, if it's actually necessary to connect it with roads. I'm just going to zone a quick low-density housing in this tile. I'm going to also zone commercial zone in this one and industrial in this one. So the buildings are already popping up, even though there is no entrance to the outside of the map. But we will see if it actually matters, if it actually means anything. All right, and here we go. So we have the first couple of houses already finished, and looks like they already do have some residents inside. Let me see if I can maybe click on the people and focus on them. Right, it's going to be focused on the edge of the map because they are basically moving in, right? What's interesting is that the population number is actually 0. Let me just try to keep the simulation running for a while and see how this is going to change. Yeah, look at that. We now have 0 residents in all of the buildings because they probably realized that they cannot actually get here. So they just gave up, I guess. Okay, so let's try to bring in some people. Let's continue building this road from this highway that we have already over here. But let's do it a little differently, okay? I'm going to just build a very simple road, something like, let's say, this. And I'm just going to make it a little bigger over there, like a loop, just so I can increase the parking space over here. I don't have dedicated parking lots right now, but let's just have parking spaces. And now I'm going to connect it with the rest of my city with just a simple pedestrian path, okay? So let's just do it like this. I'm going to put the simulation at 3 times speed. I'm going to take a look at maybe one of these buildings. I'm just going to click on the Moreno family, and I'm going to focus on one of the household members, let's say this one. Okay, so this one tries to arrive by a plane, it seems, but we don't have an airport. I cannot even build an airport. Right, so that's actually interesting that it's going to like give them the mode of transportation already at the entrance. Ah, and there we go. The Sophie is moving into the city with a trailer with all the furniture, probably clothes and everything. And let's just follow Sophie and see how she will deal with that situation. By the way, in that previous video, you were commenting that cars prefer to use the rightmost lane on the highways. No, they don't. Just look at this. Okay, let's actually leave Sophie alone because she was definitely not the first to move into the city. Look at that. So our little loop in here already is filled with cars parking on the sides. And we have a lot of people actually going into the buildings, it seems. We still have 0 population. But I would like to test one thing. Why am I doing this? Because I want to see if the population number is exactly going to copy the people arriving into the buildings, right? That's something that I would really like to see. Okay, seems like Julia is really going to be the first citizen of the city because I think she's going into this building right here. So let's see when she enters the building if it's actually going to increase the population by 1. All right, almost there, almost at the front door, and she's in. All right, and the population still 0, even though she's clearly inside the building. Where is she going now? 454 Beechwood Street. Wait, what? Oh, she moved. Oh, okay. Someone entered the house before her, it seems. But okay, so she switched her apartment just when she was moving in. Okay, let's maybe follow M in here. Oh, M is homeless. Oh, okay. So someone else, I guess. All of these people are homeless. Oh, that's a problem. No, wait, they are moving in though. It seems here it says that they are moving in, all of them. This one is moving to 27 Heather Street. That's actually all the way there. Well, someone is definitely going to arrive there first. I guess Sydney, actually. Okay, here we go. Sydney is about to enter the house and 4. Yeah, there we go. Population rose by 1 exactly when Sydney moved in. Yeah, Sydney is now idling, so they definitely moved into the building. They don't have the moving in status anymore. Okay, so that's actually interesting. So in City Skylines 2, the people physically need to enter the house they live in, and then it's going to increase the population number. Okay, I like that. Now let's take a look at this commercial district, and no one is working in it. But yeah, no one is working in here because, well, they have no way of reaching that place. Exactly the same thing with industry. Yep, that's it. Now, I would really like to cheese my way up the milestones a little because I just don't really want to wait for all the unlocks. I would really like to get public transport. Well, there we go, milestone 2. It was actually rather quick to do that. All right, milestone 3, here we go. Well, it's actually not very effective to do these. The roundabouts are definitely much better value, but it's faster. So there we go, milestone 4. Let me actually unlock trains first, because I would really like to test those. But anyway, before we do that, let's test how people actually go to work, because still we have 0 workers in these commercial buildings. So let me just try to build a pedestrian path through in here, and let's see if it's actually going to receive people. Yeah, there we go. So just when I built the path, it already got employees. Yeah, look at that. This building is full now. This one almost full as well. Yeah, so you actually need to provide at least a pedestrian access between these buildings. Yeah, so that's a solid confirmation of that. And actually, just before that, I would really like to see the city economy, because I'm really interested in if the buildings are actually doing anything. And I guess I'm going to see that through taxation, right? So this is actually interesting. The commercial buildings are not giving me any taxes, but we do have taxes from industrial. So that's really interesting because there are no people working there and there's no resupply into these buildings. So yeah, I'm not really sure what's up with that. And we also have taxis transporting people into the city. So this taxi right here is transporting 1 person, it seems. And it's probably going to stop somewhere at a parking space and probably unload a person. No, it's just going to unload the person on the street right there. It was actually a child, Stacy. Stacy is moving in. I'm not really sure if she has parents. Okay, so that's also possible. So that kind of solves the situation with not enough parking at the entrance of the city, because we can just have taxis bringing in people. So that obviously gives me the idea for building a bus depot over here and a bus stop shelter, let's say over there. And look at that, you can actually do the line like outside like this, right, on the highway if it's not a double direction network. So that's interesting that that works. And I'm just going to loop back into my stop right there. Look at Nancy in here. She is living inside the city and she's going shopping. but she's going outside of the map to do shopping. So citizens actually go into different cities to do these kinds of things. That's good to know. Yeah, look at the bus stop. There is Greg waiting for a bus, and he's also going shopping into the 2-lane one-way highway. That's basically the outside connection, so he's going outside of the map. I'm going to buy these few tiles in here just so I can connect the outside connection for a railway as well, so we don't rely only on buses. So I'm gonna quickly build a rail yard, passenger station, maybe on this side, why not? Okay, and just like before, I'm going to create a train line. So from the edge of the map over there, create a new route in Hertford, yeah. All right, and this is interesting. Okay, so we have the first case for waiting for a hearse, right? So I'm just going to click it. And look at that, there is an arriving vehicle, a hearse gathering, okay? So I'm just going to click it. It's originating from West Mansfield, so that's outside of the map. So if you don't have the service in your own city, it's going to originate from the outside, which, you know, is kind of simplifying things. And, okay, so it's actually going in. Well, let's follow this one because it obviously doesn't have the road access, so let's see what it does. Okay, it's going into the city. It's almost there. I really wonder what... Oh, it just stopped. It's gathering now. So, and now it's returning. Okay, so it just stopped. Wait a second. So, it stopped... why did it stop right here? I guess because that's the closest pedestrian access to that building. And it was this building, I think, 30 Woodland Street, or maybe it was over here. But we don't have that sign anymore, so it actually did its thing. It picked up the dead person, and now it's returning to West Mansfield off the map. I mean, this is kind of weird on one hand, but actually quite good on the other hand, because obviously it was very far away, so, you know, that was not very realistic. But then again, maybe it was, because obviously the people from the Hearse could have just, you know, took some kind of a cart or whatever and actually like went into the building to pick up the dead person and then just roll it back towards the vehicle at the road where they stopped, right? It obviously happened very fast, so they could not do it. There is no animation for these kinds of pickups, unlike in CS1. But yeah, if you are playing the city like this, that's obviously making things very easy. You know, you don't have to connect everything. But for example, in my detailed cities, back in the day in Aurelia, I'm going to show you a picture of that place. I was building the Hive city, right? Or the Hive block, or I called it something like that. And this was basically the project where I had to turn off all of these services, because in City Skylines 1 they actually all have to go to the front door, directly towards the front door, which basically made these kinds of projects impossible to build with the game's limitations, because you would have ambulances going on these terraces, on the pedestrian paths and everywhere. And before we had building spawn points mod, that is, it was just looking weird, right? So for detailing purposes, it was so much better to just turn it off and just paint the city, right? So in CS2, if you're going to build it seems, if you're going to build completely pedestrian only area, it's actually going to function with all these services. So yeah, you saw it. This behavior in vanilla game is kind of strange, but I actually really like it because it's going to allow some of those detailing projects later. So, you know, you have seen the behavior, make of that what you want. Look at that, the train is transporting 71 people already, so that's quite a lot. But anyway, let's focus on these people. So these people are actually moving in. Look at that, moving in. Yeah, moving in. Right, so people don't need to actually arrive into the city from the highways, from the road. Oh, okay, what is this? We have these two cars right here. That's not possible. This should be impossible because there is literally no way those vehicles could have entered this grid from the outside. So unfortunately, I did not catch their spawning, their creation, but yeah, this is something that I was hoping is not going to happen, but it did. So these two vehicles must have came out of the pockets of some citizens. Oh, and look at that. We have another case waiting for an ambulance over there. So ambulance was dispatched. Look at that. dispatched. Let's take a look at it. This is one thing that I really don't like about CS2. Ambulances and fire trucks as well, I guess. They are not exactly rushing, right? Okay, so let's see what happens with this one. Is it going to stop at the same place? No, it's going to stop over there. I guess it did. Yeah, it stopped just in front of that intersection, probably closest to those crosswalks, just so it could reach that pedestrian connection into the city. And yeah, the flashing symbol for the ambulance is gone. But anyway, let's take a look at the commercial district. So it's growing. It has people. It has workers in those buildings. Look at that. They are generating quite a nice profit. The industrial zone is generating profit, even though right from the start it was never connected to any outside connection. Anyways, the zone is obviously struggling, so let's try to connect it. But you know what? Let's actually try to connect it with a highway only, because highways don't have pedestrian sidewalks. Well, actually they do. I have seen that people can walk on the side of highways if they absolutely must. So I'm not really sure if that's going to be the case over there, but I just want to force people to only be able to use the road, and maybe they're going to spawn pocket cars because of that, but we will see. Anyways, I think that I just now saw one of the the notification symbols went down for the lack of labor, so people are employed now in these buildings, even though they haven't physically reached them yet. But we will see if they are actually going to walk on the side of the highway or not. Oh, and there we go. This is the first person that I see who actually uses the side of this highway. So Preston over here is going shopping. Wait, what? Destination Grand Margay. Okay, so Preston is going shopping into the industrial building. That's strange. Oh yeah, and by the way, this is actually interesting. If you're gonna click on the company's name, then it's actually going to tell you the number of employees and the storage, the current amount of resources stored for later use. So this company right here has 31 tons of stored resources. Where did they get them? Because this entire grid is disconnected from the outside world, yet they have 31 tons of materials. So yeah, it seems that resupply trucks are not exactly needed in City Skylines 2. Let's try to get someone who is going shopping into this commercial zone. Oh, there we go. Richard is going shopping into OH Furniture. If I'm gonna click that, then yep, it's going to show me a construction site. Okay, so OH Furniture is on 66 Willow Street. It has 3 tons of furniture available on the construction site, I guess, and whatever his name was is going shopping there. So yeah, that's interesting. So buildings are going to be spawned with some sort of resources already inside them. Okay, fine, but it seems that they are not really going to lose those resources, really. Actually, you know what? I'm going to follow Richard in here, and I'm not going to click him, but I would really like to see if maybe when Richard is going to enter OH Furniture, if it's actually going to decrease the storage number because he bought something, okay? So I'm going to increase the Oh, he's going there to sit on a bench and then go home. Oh, okay. Oh, there we go. That was a pocket car. Right there, this was a pocket car. Okay, so City Skylines 2 does have pocket cars, just like in CS1. Although, I guess that they are going to be less frequent because I really had to wait for a very long time to finally catch it. Anyways, another thing that I would like to try is education. I'm going to build it like really far away from the city, okay? Maybe something like this, just a single road. And then I'm going to build an elementary school over there and a high school. Now that I'm doing it, why not? Okay, so I waited for some time and there are 0 students still in these schools. So it probably works similarly to the commercial district, for example. And there actually needs to be some sort of network to connect this all together. So I'm gonna try to connect it with a highway. No students so far. But I guess it's also because it doesn't have any employees. I'm going to try dezoning some of these commercial buildings because it's going to make people, jobless from these buildings. And hopefully it's going to force them to accept jobs very far away from the city in these education buildings. And yeah, look at that. It actually did. Okay, so it seems that people will prefer to work closer to where they live. Now that they don't have jobs in these buildings, because I got rid of that, they immediately accepted jobs in some of these. We have employees, but we don't have any students yet. I'm not really sure if it's because of the highway. I'm going to try to change the highway into just a regular road and see if that makes any difference. So let's do that. Let's quickly take a look at the schools. If there is any immediate change. There was. Yeah, look at that. Students are now increasing. Yeah. So you actually need to provide at least pedestrian access. Well, actually, only pedestrian access into the education buildings. And actually, by the way, I'm now interested in one thing, and that is now that we have the train station delivering people moving into the city, what if I got rid of this pedestrian connection into that residential district? Because I really wonder how the ambulances and hearses are going to work right now. Okay, here we go. So this commercial building now has some kind of emergency. It's waiting for an ambulance. The vehicle was dispatched, so let's take a look. So the vehicle is at the outside connection. It was dispatched. Okay, I'm just going to increase the simulation speed. It's just waiting at the edge. Actually, that's the outgoing direction, and look at that, returning. So we are still here, we are still focusing on the ambulance, but the ambulance is now returning already. So it did its thing kind of remotely from outside of the map, and that's done, right? I'm going to take a look at actually the building. If it doesn't have the symbol anymore, it doesn't, right? It was, I think, this building, doesn't matter, we don't have any symbols around. Okay, so it seems that if the AI cannot find a path, it's just going to teleport the service from the outside to the city. And I'm thinking that that's exactly how it works with the resupply trucks. Okay, another ambulance. This building is waiting for the ambulance. It already did its thing. It's returning. Yeah, so just like the one before. So focusing now more on that education district of ours, we have Yvonne here. She's actually the first kid to enter the elementary school. It seems that she's going to sit on a bench there. She's now idling in the school. But anyway, we have around 52 students in the city. It was kind of around 40 for a very long time. Now it's 52. But I only counted 21 kids actually to be exact, on this bridge walking towards the elementary school. All of them are going to the elementary school. There are even some adults because they are going to work in those school buildings, but only 20 kids. Most of them are around here, and further towards the city there is basically no one. Maybe just a couple of adults going to work, and that's it. So it seems that the game actually simulates only around maybe like half of the people actually using certain services like the schools, slightly below that, and not everyone. So some of these numbers are purely virtual, I guess. This kid right now, Yvonne, oh yeah, that's Yvonne, right? So she was just chilling there on the bench. I guess she did not really want to attend any classes, and now she's going back home. It's kind of a long walk, so it's probably gonna take her a couple of days to actually go over this bridge and reach 116 Holy Street where she lives, I guess. But yeah, some of these numbers are purely virtual. I guess nothing wrong with that. It would be probably a bit over the top to actually simulate every single citizen, but well, there it is. Now I guess I have it confirmed that that's how it is. Okay, one last thing I'm going to try is the resupply of industry through cargo trains. So I'm just going to spam all the industrial zones in this area, and then I'm going to build a cargo train station right here just to see if it's actually going to properly resupply the whole thing. Let's build it actually over there. Anyway, so we have the train going in. It's going to unload all of its cargo. Yes, absolutely all of it. It's going to be now stored inside the cargo terminal. Not quite. It was probably originally, but it's going down because it's probably being loaded onto trucks. Yes. We had 869 tons of cargo transported on that train. Okay. And I'm actually interested in counting if that's all the cargo that's going to be exported from the building. So I'm just going to prepare a piece of paper and I'm actually going to do the work and I'm going to count it. Okay, and that seems to be it. So I'm going to pause the game right now because we have another train coming in. We still have 204 materials stored in the cargo train terminal. That's basically what we had right from the start. So it seems that it just dispatched all the vehicles. Oh yeah, look at that. We actually have, oh yeah, I did not even need to count it because we have all the vehicles in here in the cargo train terminal. Let's see if it actually adds up, if I counted it right. Yes, I counted 15 trucks and 1 van. So yeah, that's exactly in here. So that adds up. 375 tons of cargo for trucks and 4 tons for the van. So that's 379. I'm going to add to that the 204 that we have in storage right here. And that's only 579. So the cargo train was importing 869, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, I just messed it up on my calculator over here. That's because my number 5 is not exactly working. So 869. So that's 290 tons that just disappeared. Or teleported, maybe, into the factories. Maybe it's the same case with the elementary school, that, you know, some students are not actually modeled in the game. Some are just like virtual. So perhaps some of the cargo is also just virtual, and it's going to just teleport to the buildings immediately. It's definitely not half and half. It's more like 2/3, 1/3, it seems. But yeah, we have 290 tons kind of missing in here. Okay, so it seems that when you actually do provide some kind of entrance for cargo into the industrial zone, it then works almost okay. Even though we have a couple of 100 tons of cargo just missing. It was just lost in the cargo train terminal somehow. And I don't know if it teleported into the buildings or if it just disappeared. Really no idea. I don't think there is any way for me to tell. But I would like to test another thing. And that is the theory that if the cargo trucks are going to despawn during some kind of traffic events, they're actually going to teleport the cargo into the building. I really want to test that. Actually, one last thing that I wanted to show you is related to offices. I now have office demand, and if you look at this info view, then you see that these blocks are green, so they are suitable for office zoning. But that's only because I actually have them cross-connected with a road. Yeah, there is the pedestrian access, yeah. But watch what happens when I get rid of that road and I go into that office view. Look at that. It immediately turns red. All of it, yeah. Every single road turns red. If I now zone this area for offices, all of these blocks, nothing's going to happen. Even when I have office demand. But it matters that there is no suitability for it. So I actually need to cross-connect it. Look at that. I'm just going to build a road right here. And it's immediately turn green. But even all the way here in the school district, like very, very far away. So that's really strange and interesting at the same time. If you're going to be building a normal city, then obviously you will have it cross-connected with all these kinds of zone types together, right? But it's just interesting that it works this way. So you actually need to have in a single network both commercial and residential, for offices to be suitably built there. But anyway, now I would like to test that teleporting goods theory, so let's just load into my actual city because I do have despawning traffic there. Okay, so we are back in Big Townie, and I'm actually going to make the industrial traffic much worse. I'm going to get rid of this pedestrian overpass because I'm going to put back crosswalks to really force really terrible traffic. Hopefully, we are going to observe some despawning traffic very soon. So there's, for example, this truck, which may or may not be in a deadlock situation, but it's transporting to Yaksu. Yaksu is currently empty. It has two trucks. One is right here, where even is Yaksu, actually. It's, okay, it's down at the harbor, right. And the second truck, that's our truck. So let's actually take a look at Yaksu company and follow this truck now. Okay, it's now or never. It's kind of in a deadlock situation on this roundabout, so let's see if the patience is going to run out for the driver. The second truck of the company just made its delivery, so there is some cargo in storage right now. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Did you see this? It disappeared. It despawned here on this roundabout. No idea why here, because it had a clear way of going forward, but I guess just some kind of timer ran out. I just paused the game right there when it despawned, and look at that. The storage went up. It actually went up. Okay, let's, for example, take a look at this semi-truck over here. It also works for a company where there are two trucks, but we are only interested in this one. So it has 4 tons. And the company has 1.15, okay? Oh, there we go. This one despawned, and immediately the storage went up by 4 tons. Yeah, and again, I will have to look at the video. I'm not really sure if it was a delivery van, the second one, but the second semi-truck is Outskirts Tannery. Remember that name. It's actually right here, okay. It's got 4 tons as well. And the second delivery van is over there. Okay, so this just spawned from the building. Well, actually, wait a minute. Because, again, I will have to look at the video. Correct me if I'm wrong in this one, but where is this cargo coming from? Textile, 3.3 tons. Because that seems to just like happened. Because the building did not have that much. Right? The building did not have this amount of textile in store. So this vehicle has 3.35 tons. That's, I think that just appeared out of thin air, honestly. Let's take a look at this delivery van. Maybe it's got 4 tons of chemicals and transporting it to pharmacy. It doesn't have any chemicals in it, so that's going to be very easy to spot if 4 tons will add there. Oh, there we go. So it despawned and immediately 4 tons of chemicals were added to the pharmacy's warehouse. And I'm pretty sure that it was this delivery motorbike that now changed. So this is actually a motorbike for cargo in City Skylines 2. I have no idea that this was possible, but yeah, delivery motorbike. There it is. I'm no expert on paper manufacturing, but why on earth do we have concrete stored in the paper factory? It's not actually converted into paper, it seems, but why is it there? Actually, one more thing that I would like to test with this industrial zone, and that is, some of you told me that apparently if you are going to not have resupply to the industrial zones, your taxation revenue is actually going to plummet. So let me test that. I'm going to completely cut off the industrial zone from the outside world, at least when it comes to roads, so that we cannot have any trucks actually going into the industry, but I will have it connected with the pedestrian paths so that there can be people actually going to work like we saw in that previous test city. So I'm just going to cut off these roads and then I'm going to let the game run for some time. Okay, that's interesting. This truck delivery van, by the way, it's going from this building, which has 576 tons of storage, but it has 1,200 tons of concrete. and it's transporting 4 tons of concrete into an apparel company which requires petrochemicals and produces textile. Yeah, I'm not really sure what's it gonna do there once it arrives. Is this maybe some kind of a simulation where buildings require concrete to actually level up or something? You know, as like a construction material, because the building, well, actually no, the building is level 5. I don't know, is concrete required maybe for like maintenance or something? I'm just going to demolish this building because, you know, it's obviously broken. So let's see what else is going to be built here. Okay, I destroyed the building while this vehicle was out. It did not despawn, but it's now actually going into an office building, which requires electronics and software. I really wonder where it's going because that building should not be accessible. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, so yeah, it's transporting concrete into an electronics factory, or actually software company. Okay, I'm really interested in one thing, so I would really like to focus on a vehicle that's currently buying something, yeah? Because I want to see, okay, so it's going into this warehouse, and this warehouse, its destination is Lake Street, Little Boxes. Yeah, that's a warehouse, so I can click the building, and it's actually going to tell me what it has in storage, all right? So it has 6.7 tons of plastics, and this deliver van belongs to Letho Electronics, which I guess requires plastics. Why is there concrete again in the storage of electronics company? Okay, whatever. But the van has 4 tons capacity. It's going to go inside the building, and it's going to leave the building because, you know, it's buying. Yeah. And it spawned the plastics. Look at that. So the van is full. It did not take any plastics from the warehouse. So I think I finally got to the bottom of how the supply chains work. They don't. The cargo is basically spawned at the point where the trucks are going to pick it up from the factory, from the warehouse. Even though in that previous testing city, we did not have any of this delivery traffic between the industrial buildings. So that's actually not how that particular situation worked. The industries just worked regardless of this. But this particular industrial zone, yep, I think we got to the bottom of it. So it doesn't matter that it's disconnected from the outside of the world because, materials are just created out of thin air like that. So there we go. So yeah, eventually I just fixed the industrial zone traffic by disconnecting it from the rest of the world. It's working perfectly. Look at the perfect traffic flow on this intersection. And actually, even if I look at the city economy, the taxation, then we are even higher with the taxation revenue from industry. So it just obviously doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like traffic, heavy traffic, low traffic, no traffic, doesn't matter. But anyways, if there are some other things that you would like to see tested in CS2, then definitely let me know in the comments. I'm probably going to be continuing with these kinds of tests or just like showcases of certain things in CS2. In the next video, I would actually like to focus maybe on some first mods for CS2 outside of the announced PDX mods, and just to see what's up with that, how exactly it's working, what it's doing, and maybe I'm going to finally test the developer mode as well, all right? So anyway, that's going to be it for today. Thank you for watching this one. If you found it helpful, if you learned something, saw the game in, different ways, then, do all the things below the video, the clicking, rating, subscribing, sharing, and big thanks to the channel supporters who are directly supporting this channel through the membership function here on YouTube. So greatly appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much. Take care. Goodbye.